I like OF a lot. I enjoy posting myself. It's fun. I like talking to fans, but I am stepping back from doing
Yeah.
I've decided.
So what shifted? What changed?
Over the past few months, I've become really unhappy and regretting certain decisions that I've made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like regretting just like making that kind of content, or like just
there's so many different factors. The first one is my parents. It took a while for them to be proud of me. I don't think they like what I do, and that's like hard, not being able to talk to them about like my career.
I mean, let's keep it real. What normal parent's gonna want to talk to their daughter about them doing sex work? It's not exactly the easiest one to support. What you supposed to say? Oh, how was your day today? How was the freedom? Do you need some ice? She even goes on to say herself that she wouldn't want her kid to do the same work that she does.
Yeah, it makes sense. I can see. I personally wouldn't want my child to get into work.
Yeah.
I've been blessed. I haven't had too many bad experiences working with other people, but I think that's a rarity. I think a lot of girls in the industry do have bad experiences, and so that's why I wouldn't want my child to become involved with it.
And like she's about to say, this also affects their relationship with sex in real life.
I don't have sex in my free life, but in my like actual day-to-day life or anything.
Really?
Like with normal people, no. Any sex that I have is on camera, and it's not that much. Like people, it's weird because the internet thinks that I'm like crazy and I'm out like fucking everyone, but I really don't have sex that often at all.
Yeah, unless you're at this performing.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I don't want it to be like that anymore, because I think I lost track of like sex is special, and I want to be able to experience that again.
Yeah, the intimacy in it, and not just like the performance of it.
Yeah, just being bombarded, the bigger and bigger I get, the more hate I receive, and that's like really gets to me and has been really getting to me the past few months. And also I think I've become really desensitized to sex and relationships.
So she's got parents that are disappointed in her, she's desensitized to sex, and it's hard for her to have a relationship. And it's going to be hard for her to find a good man, because most good men with self-respect are not going to be interested in a girl that's done that. And she knows this.
It's a lot of different things. It's worrying about who will take me serious is a big thing. The quality of men that are like into me has gone down, because like they don't want to be seen with a girl that's on the internet having sex. So that's been hard.
Do you think they're wrong for that, or does that make sense to you?
I don't think they're wrong at all. I don't think there's anything wrong with not wanting to be with someone that has done porn. I think that's completely understandable.
Yeah.
So I don't blame anyone else but myself.
Yeah. I mean, that's... I've had other conversations for sure that definitely went in a different direction, where it's like, you should just accept it, you know?
No.
But
I'm realistic. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, you should take me just as serious. Like, I understand why it would put people off. Like, I fully understand.
Yeah.
Now that she got respect for her for not acting like the victim or blaming anybody else or saying it's men's fault, she's saying it's all my fault, which isn't what a lot of other girls in her line of work have done.
Honestly, I feel like I'm in denial sometimes, and I can't accept some of the things that I've done.
The thing is, as much as she admits this and as much as she tries to do different things, it's always going to be there. People aren't going to forget. Also, she says she's still going to do OnlyFans, so she's still for the streets.
Deciding to quit porn is probably the biggest thing, because it's just not what I'm passionate about at this point. I just don't want to be known for it anymore, I guess. I don't want like that to be my whole personality. Creating stuff and building a fan base and an audience off of something else, like whether it's like YouTube or Twitch.
Like I said before, I respect her for not acting like the victim and taking responsibility, but I think it's too little too late. Even if you try different things and you have success in those things, people are still going to remember you for what you originally did. I think we're only going to see more modern women doing this and coming out and saying they regret their decisions.
I have a kid. Now that I have my kid, I might be this, oh, I'm a boss bitch, but deep down in my heart, I would do absolutely anything to be at home and be like always with my child. But unfortunately, like he's right. And that shit's hard. Like, unfortunately, since I'm by myself, I gotta hustle, you know? Yeah. But I would do anything to have a man.
I wasted 10 years on feminism and woke culture. And there was aspects of, you can be independent. You don't need a man and all of that New York woke bullshit that really happens.
When did you realize that it was a lie?
Honestly, probably like a year ago.
A year ago.
That's the problem.
What made you like realize?
And It's interesting. Like I started really listening to Andrew Tate's like long form content.
Yeah. Nice.
And understanding truly what he meant.
Yeah.
And it really changed everything for me and how I viewed men and women and relationships. And
my mom raised me to go, never cook for any man. You're going to be successful. You're not going to have kids until you're in your 30s or 40s. You're always going to take care of yourself first, because this is what she wanted for herself.
Right.
And she filled me with all of this. And I was like, this is what I want. I am not going to cook for any man. I'm going to be a feminist. And it wasn't really what I wanted. I didn't want, it's so fucking hard, right? In this like Me Too movement, whatever. But like, I don't want to be equal, the same as my man. I think that there is a man and there is a woman. And I think that's okay. We don't do the same things and we don't serve the same function in a household. But I didn't really know myself well enough to know that I am much more traditional, I realized, than I wanted to be cooler than I am.
It's a mistake. I lived quite a feminist lifestyle for quite some time.
What do you mean you lived a feminist lifestyle?
I'm independent financially and all of those things. And I kind of pursued my career for a really long time. I pursued my academics for a really long time. I really appreciate all of that. I think as you get older, you realize how unfulfilling all of those things are. And when you're sold that dream for a really long time, you're so convinced that that can't wait. And you're so convinced that marriage, kids, and becoming all of those things that are more traditional can wait. And really, biologically, it's the other way around.
What is your opinion on modern day feminism? Because I think it is one of the most harmful things to women. Also, how do we combat that along with harmful views on men? We're teaching our men to not be masculine. And
I'm not a big fan of feminism in any form. I think that feminism from the very beginning was anti-family. But even the early feminists, if you look at the things they were saying about the family, they were not big fans of it. And they saw it as a patriarchal, oppressive institution. And so I think that feminism has, from the very beginning, been an attack on the family. And it's just that as it has lingered on like a cancer, the cancer has spread and gotten more malignant. And so that's what we're experiencing today. There are some feminists, I think a small minority, who are realizing that all the trans stuff and the gender theory stuff is completely undermining everything they've worked for the past 100 years, even though most of what they worked for is pretty terrible in and of itself. If I were to look for like one bright spot, it might be there. But I just don't know if those feminists tend to be shouted down and ripped to shreds pretty quickly. So I just wanted to end on some kind of positive note. That's as far as I could get.
She says, Patrick, this is very hard for me to say this. And let me tell you why it's very hard. I said, what's that? She says, ever since in high school, I wanted to prove to men that I can beat them. So when I graduated high school and college, I opened up my salon. We do very well. I've made millions of dollars. My people and my work that work at the salon, they do very well for themselves. I drive a nice car. I have a nice house. I have money. I have millions. I don't worry about any of that stuff. You know what decision I made last night? I said, what's that? She says, I want a husband. I no longer want to compete with men. I need them. And I'm like, what? She's saying this in front of 2,000 people with her sister sitting right next to her. And now she's getting emotional. How many 65-year-old women do we have to hear saying that I marched with the feminist movement and I bought into the fact that men are the enemy? I've never been married. I'm alone and I'm miserable and I wish I would have never bought into that philosophy.
And this is why all the single masculine women that are in their 40s are mad. Because they didn't keep the guy that really wanted to marry them back then. They were too busy trying to be in the streets. And now look at them, 40, angry, miserable, and masculine. You chose wrong. Blame yourself, not me.
I don't care if she was in the streets in her past and now she isn't. If she ever was,
she belongs to the streets.